The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning or good afternoon, and welcome to our webinar on Temporary Kitchens 101, top-of-the-line solutions, bottom-line results. Carrie Franz from our Naperville office is joining us today. My name is Ralph Goldbeck, and again, we would like to welcome you. Carrie and I will be making this presentation to you this afternoon. Carrie, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thank you, Ralph. As you know, my name is Carrie Franz. I have a degree in food merchandising and have been in the food service industry in the Chicago area for the last 20 years. The last 5 years, I have been here at Kitchens To Go and Carlin Manufacturing, leading our sales team.
Thanks, Carrie. And I'm Ralph Goldbeck. I'm one of the partners of Kitchens To Go and Carlin Manufacturing. Have been involved in the food service industry for 26 plus years and have a background as an architect. And before we jump off into the presentation this afternoon, just wanted to share that Carrie and I just recently returned from the NAFM show down in Orlando, Florida, and happy to say that almost a renewed interest in our industry and a level of excitement. People were very optimistic, so we are excited about what's happening in the marketplace. There are a lot of projects that appear to be coming off the shelf, a lot of potential renovations, and so we thought it was timely to present this information to you today to give you another option for a temporary kitchen solution if you are looking at some type of renovation. So with that being said, we will go ahead and launch into our program. A little bit about Kitchens To Go. Kitchens To Go is an industry leader in mobile and modular food service solutions. We've been serving the commercial and institutional food service industry since 1999. All of our products that we offer to the marketplace are built by our sister company, Carlin Manufacturing. We have been lucky enough to be awarded the Kitchen Innovation Award at last year's NRA show in Chicago for our bolt-on kitchen solution, which is a modular bolt-on kitchen. So with that being said, Carrie, why don't you share the agenda for today?
All right. What we would like to do with you this afternoon is define what is a temporary kitchen. We will talk about different options for temporary food service. We will go through the planning approvals, just a brief overview of the planning approvals, timeline, and costs involved. We'll talk about the benefits of a temporary kitchen solution, and we'll show you a couple of our projects that are in action. And then, of course, we'll leave time at the end for any questions you might have on any material that we haven't covered. So what is a temporary kitchen? That question comes up a lot, and really it is a mobile or a modular culinary production unit. It is a complete commercial kitchen. It is most often utilized to replace or supplement existing facilities when there is a renovation or a closure or even an expansion. The units are entirely scalable based on the volume and demand. A small population may require only a single unit or a trailer, while a larger population or a more extensive menu may require multiple units, which are married together, as you see in this photo on this slide.
Thanks, Carrie. And as Carrie mentioned, we'll have plenty of time at the end of the program for questions and answers. So if you do have a question, please just type it in, and we will address those at the end of the presentation. So what type of solutions exist for temporary kitchens? Well, if you have a short-term requirement, generally anywhere from 1 to 6 months, we would recommend a mobile solution. There are a number of wheel-type solutions available, anywhere from 20 to 53 foot in length. Very mobile units, ideal for special events or for disaster response. If you have a longer-term requirement, such as an extensive renovation of a hospital or a potential college campus or a correctional facility, most likely you will need a longer-term type program of 6 months or more. And with modular kitchen facilities, you can actually take the modules and connect them together to form open clear span complexes, which will allow for increased capacity. It creates a nice open space for visual and verbal communications. It's also a nice solution for after the initial disaster, if the folks are coming in, the construction crews are coming in, it's a nice cooking complex that can support their requirements. In addition to the food service production units, we also offer ancillary support units such as cold and dry storage, dishwash units, flight machines, as you can see in the image, all the way down to smaller rack machines. Dining facilities can be provided to meet the needs of the campus. Toilet and locker rooms can support the dining and kitchen facilities along with office space, trash rooms, recycling centers, and even power generation and distribution is available.
So now we're going to talk about the facts, the planning, preparation, and investment. And these are really what to consider when you're contemplating the use of a temporary kitchen. The first is planning, and as in any project, the sooner you start planning, the better off you are. Some general timelines for the planning process: programming and design, 1 to 4 weeks. And this is really, the programming is really us working with the food service team to determine what kind of cooking equipment is needed, which is going to help drive the size of the units needed. And then we can start designing. Once we know what that equipment is, we can start designing and come back to you with a good plan for your need. Code approvals. These could be anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, depending upon your municipality and what areas you're going to have to go to for that. Production, that's us getting the units ready for your project, anywhere from 1 to 4 weeks. Delivery and installation, 1 to 5 weeks, and again, it's a span based upon the number of units that you might have. Testing and training, this is 2 to 5 days. Once any of our complexes are installed, we will test all of the equipment to make sure it is operational, and then we will spend time with your food service folks so that we can train them so they can be very comfortable moving into their new home away from home. This total timeline, as you can see, is 5 to 15 weeks, unless it is in the case of a disaster and emergency, in which case we will respond as needed.
And as Carrie mentioned, planning is extremely important. In the temporary kitchen world, we have seen both planned and unplanned renovations due to either fire or natural disasters. So if you have the opportunity to plan for your event, of course, that's much better. The second part of the facts to take a look at are code approvals and what type of code approvals are required. For especially a modular complex, local environmental health department is the first place to start. Along with that, you'll be required to have approval through your local state, county, or city building departments. The modular complexes that are available come in with third-party approval, so they actually carry state approval before they are delivered to your location. All of this is supported by a comprehensive engineering drawing package that is provided by architects and engineers that we have on staff, and those drawing packages can be used by your local professionals to work through your local governing bodies to secure approval.
And next we have the investment. Kitchens to Go is designed with two numbers that you will see in any kind of proposal or any project. The first is a monthly lease rate, and this is the amount to lease the various units that make up your complex. You can see on the screen some examples of a cook unit. This would be a unit going anywhere in size from 20 feet to 56 feet, $6,500 to $13,500. That would have all the capital cooking equipment, the hoods, and the Ansel system in it. The prep unit, that is $5,500 to $9,500. That's a unit that can be used for swing space, obviously used for prep. It will have sinks in it, but doesn't require the hood and a lot of equipment, so that unit is a little bit less. A dishwash unit, $9,500 to $13,000, and again, that can be various types of dishwashers depending upon your need, and would also include 3-comp sinks and areas for storing racks. Walk-in coolers and freezers, these are normally 8 by 20, but other sizes are also available, and those are $2,500 to $3,500 a month. And lastly, we have dining. And this dining space can either be modular or it can be something that we would do in a sprung stress membrane structure. So that space really depends on the number of seats that you will have. The second charge are the one-time charges. This is freight, installation, and removal. So this is bringing that project to you, getting it installed on your site, and then taking it away at the end of the program. And again, there are purchase options available, which we'll talk about next. We'll kind of go into the instance where would you want to purchase it instead of lease it. And normally we say in excess of 18 months. If you're going to have something on site, you might want to compare what the cost would be to purchase it at the beginning as opposed to have the monthly lease. The other ideal situation is if there's an afterlife for the facility. If you have something else you can do with that once you are moved out. What you see on the screen in front of you is USC in Los Angeles, and this was done on their campus to take care of the student body while their student union was being rebuilt. And that large white structure is a sprung structure with the kitchens attached next to it. And once those kitchens, there was no use for the kitchens, we pulled those kitchens away, but we left that structure on campus for a while, and they used it as some swing space and space for classrooms while other projects were being constructed on campus. So when you have a reason to use it, it certainly can make a purchase make more sense. And then lastly, if you have disaster preparedness application, you might want to have something on hand in case that were to arise, then it would make sense to purchase it too.
The second part of the investment consideration, in addition to the lease and one-time charges, would be your utility extension cost. In most cases, temporary facilities can be located near your existing complex, near your dining space, and several times we can actually take the utilities that are being used by your existing kitchen and transfer them over to the new facility. The monthly utility costs will be comparable to what your existing facility is currently consuming, in some cases even less. Natural gas, propane, and all-electric options are available. We've done some healthcare programs to where the temporary facility is located near the oxygen farm, and in that case, open flame is not allowed. So all electric options are available. The modular units that are available also come with energy-efficient lighting and several other energy-efficient construction features. The equipment that is used on board of a temporary kitchen facility is the same type of equipment as you would have in your existing kitchen. All commercial-grade food service equipment, NSF and UL approved. The units come complete with tempered makeup air and exhaust systems with fire suppression. In some cases, if you have good, durable equipment in your existing facility, we can actually pick that up and move it into the temporary kitchen, or if you're purchasing new equipment for your new facility, we can actually bring that in ahead of time and place that in the temporary facility and allow you to get some use and value out of that and reduce your overall cost of the program.
So weighing your options, what are the choices? Kitchen is closed for renovation. One alternative that is widely used is phase construction. In doing so, though, you're often increasing that construction period 2 to 3 times longer. Because of that extra length of the construction period, you've increased your costs and your resources, as well as you're disrupting the day-to-day operations with staff having to work around the construction, as well as construction fatigue that really wears on people quickly. Another option, if your kitchen was closed, would be outsourced catering. This is extremely costly, though. You don't have control of your food costs, and you're certainly going to spend 20 to 30% more than if you were producing in-house. In addition to the cost, you're giving up that control of food safety, quality, and consistency that you may pride yourself with in your operation. In addition, you now have no need for all of your staff, so you reduce your staff, and that can really affect their morale. The third option, which is not always an option, is closing down your kitchen. If you do have other food service operations around your campus, you may be able to do this, but then you're going to add a lot of productivity stress on those operations. you're going to have decreased level of service provided to your consumers, as they're going to be having to go farther to get their food. And again, it creates reduction in the staff, which will affect morale.
So the benefits of using a temporary kitchen are reduced costs and downtime as compared to some of the alternatives that Carrie just shared with you. It will minimize the length of the renovation project, thus reducing the pain of the remodel process, and gives you the opportunity to ensure control over the quality of your food product and the consistency, especially if you have special dietary requirements to be concerned about. Your clients will remain engaged throughout the renovation process as opposed to having to shut down your facility or relocate it. It keeps your staff engaged and, as Carrie mentioned, morale up. And there's some cases when the other alternatives are just not an option.
And so there are times when the temporary kitchen is your only option. And this would certainly include facilities that are serving complex dietary regulations, whether it's therapeutic diets, religious diets, food allergies, or intolerances. You're not able to get those normally if you have something catered. When phased construction isn't possible, it may be that the facility is going to go over the exact footprint of the existing kitchen, and so you're just going to have to do something else. You don't have the space. And then also when there are security issues such as military bases, airports, and high-tech campuses.
So we've shared a lot of information with you. Let's take a look at a couple of temporary kitchen facilities in action.
All right, this is Banner Thunderbird Medical Center. At the time we did this project, it was a 409-bed hospital in Glendale, Arizona. And they were building 2 new towers to add on and expand the hospital. So a temporary kitchen was going to be needed for their food service operations. This is a view of, as Ralph had talked about earlier, us marrying together those modules. You can see that there are 9 modules here that have been placed right side by side, and those walls have come down in between, and it has created this very open kitchen for them. And you're kind of looking at the end where the utility connections are right now. This is a view of the main production cook line. You can see the large kettles for batch cooking. You can see floor drains to get that moisture out of there. And at the far end, you'll see that there's a walk-in cooler. And right above, you'll see where the lights are. That's obviously the hood system. This is another cook line. They happen to have 2 to accommodate their needs here. And again, you can see that the hood and the cook line equipment is on the one side, and then directly across from it is prep stations and storage. And down at the end, another walk-in cooler. This is a workstation, and this we kind of like this to show you that all of the walls inside of our modules are FRP, and they're very cleanable, they're white, they're bright, and in addition to that, and being very health code compliant, you can write on them. So in this instance, you might write down something you need to remember to order inventory-wise. You might write a note to a staff who works at that station, but either way, it's kind of fun. You can write on those walls and then just wipe it off. And then this last picture, or I should say second to last picture, Banner Thunderbird, is their tray line. They had kind of their own unique tray line and system for delivering meals, and we were able to take that out of their permanent kitchen and install it here in the temporary, so their food service workers were able to just move right on as they normally would in their permanent kitchen and be familiar with their tray line. And this last picture is of the dishwash facility, and it is designed so it is open on both ends so that the dirty dishes will come in one end and be scraped and put through the dishwasher, and then this is the clean end. You'll see they're coming out the clean end. There'll be another opening where they can go back into storage and back into the modules next to them.
Thanks, Carrie. That project at Banner was in place for 18 months. A similar project that is currently still in place is at the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office down in New Orleans. As a result of the damage caused by Hurricane Katrina, the jail facility needed to be completely renovated. So we have provided a modular food service and laundry complex to meet the requirements of the jail. This is a total 5-unit modular complex with 3 units used for the food service production facility and 2 used for the laundry. This is a shot of the production line. The entire production space is met with a series of steam kettles, and the food is prepared in this kitchen and then transported over to the jail in a series of Canbro carriers that are transported by shuttle truck, and then the food is served in the jail, and then the Canbro carriers return to the kitchen facility. It is a 3-unit complex with a cook module, a prep module, and a ditch wash module, in addition to a cart wash area that is used to clean the Canbros and the transport carts. The facility is supported with 2 walk-in cold storage units. One is a 38-degree refrigerator, and the other one is a zero-temp freezer. As I mentioned, the Canbro carriers are transported off of the loading dock into a shuttle vehicle over to the jail complex. What is interesting about this program is it is funded by FEMA, and one of the requirements that had to be met is that the entire complex must be able to be disassembled and relocated in 72 hours. So the loading dock is actually 2 flatbed trailers that are installed side by side with the walk-in cold storage on top of the trailers. All we'd have to do is take down the tie downs and the anchor points, and the entire complex could be picked up and relocated as required. In addition to the food service facility, there is a modular laundry complex which is outfitted with 2 high-volume wash machines and 2 high-volume dryers. And this meets the laundry requirements of not only the prisoners, but also the uniform requirements for the jail staff. We have a video of this program that is available on the Kitchens to Go website. If you look under the featured projects section at www.ktg.com, you'll find a video of the OPSO program along with some other videos of some featured projects for all the markets that we serve: healthcare, correctional, college, university, and BNI.
And to summarize what we have talked about today, temporary kitchens are often more cost-effective and efficient than the alternatives, which are the phased construction, which again is going to cost 2 to 3 times as much, as well as have your kitchen staff working right alongside the construction staff. Outsourcing to catering or contract management, again, more costly. And again, you're going to lose some of your staff and maybe more importantly, lose the control you have over food safety, consistency, and quality. And lastly, shutting down that kitchen until the project is done, usually not an option for non-commercial food service environments, and even so will result in lost revenue, creates layoffs, makes it more difficult once you reopen as you're retraining staff and getting your staff back on board, and inconvenience, adding additional pressure on the other outlets that might be near you to produce additional capacity.
We have found that temporary kitchens are an ideal, cost-effective solution for a number of food service needs, whether you're renovating or remodeling a facility, if you have a planned or unplanned renovation, if you have to work around new construction, a temporary or interim kitchen facility will allow you to meet your production requirements. It also gives you the chance to increase your capacity, both storage and volume of the facility, along with being able to prepare and respond to disaster situations. A number of folks that we deal with have a continuity of operations plan, which allows them to do some pre-planning and have a temporary kitchen facility essentially in the wings if there were a hurricane or a tornado that were to come through and take their hospital or correctional facility down. So one thing to keep in mind, if you have a continuity of operations plan, that food service is a big part of that, and along with having shelf-stable meals, you have to give some thought to how you're going to be in production after some type of event. One of our past customers Patty had a chance to use one of our units last summer up at his place in Santa Rosa, and looks like he was happy with the results.
I think he was. So now we thank you for the time you've given us this afternoon, but also would like to open it up for any questions that anyone might have. Please feel free to type them in, and we will respond as best we can. I think Ralph is going to read off our questions.
First question is, there's a webinar scheduled for tomorrow, and that is concerning mobile and modular food service solution, and is really geared more toward the design of those facilities. That will be held at 1 p.m. Pacific, and you can register for that by calling our Naperville office at 630-355-1660, which is the number which is up on the screen, and we'd be happy to get you plugged into that webinar. Next presentation, or the next question is, are the units raised, or their slab requirements? The units are raised, and as I mentioned, you have both a mobile and modular option, and the mobile units come on a series of wheels and transport gear. The modular units are modular buildings and are placed on a series of piers and pads. So they don't require a slab. They require a level substrate, typically with some type of gravel base or asphalt, and really has minimal impact and modifications of your existing site. Next question is, we are in a remote area with only 3 roads coming in the area. If they are all washed out at the same time, can the units be airlifted in? Some units can. The modular units are 12 foot by 56 foot in length, and we have put several of them in by crane. We've not had the opportunity to essentially airlift them in. We do have some smaller mobile and containerized units that we've worked with the military, and those have been available to be airlifted in to remote locations. So it is possible. It is somewhat limited as to what the size and capacity that would be available to be moved in, but that is something that could be considered. Next question is, are used modules available for lease or purchase? We have a fleet of 68 units available for lease, stored at various locations around the country. Of course, a number of those units are currently in lease programs, but we typically have about 30% of that fleet available at any time. So best thing to do is to contact our Naperville office, and we will be able to let you know at a moment's notice what types of units are available. Concerning purchase, we do have some units in our fleet that we do have available for purchase, and I believe that those are listed on our website. Okay, I think that takes care of the questions this afternoon. As I mentioned earlier, we do have another webinar coming up tomorrow, and that is on mobile and modular food service solutions. That will be at 1 p.m. Pacific, and to register for that, please contact Julie at 630-364-3085. Again, we appreciate your time this afternoon. Hopefully we've answered a few of your questions. If you do have additional questions, feel free to either go to our website or reach out. So we'd be happy to try to provide whatever answers you're looking for. So thanks again. We appreciate your time, and have a great afternoon.
Thanks, everyone.